श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। Okay. Last time Vijay ji raised his hand. Vijay is still here or Vijay Kunath? All right. Okay. Deepa. Okay. So we are chanting from number 13, chapter 3. Yajñashishtashinas santaha
यज्ञशिष्टासिनः सन्तः
मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः
मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः
भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापाः
भुञ्जते ते त्वगं पापाः
ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्
ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्
अन्नाद् भवन्ति भूतानि
अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः
यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रम्
एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रम्
नानुवर्तयतीह यः
नानुवर्तयति यतः
नानुवर्तयतीह यः
नानुवर्तयति यः
वर्तयतीह यः
वर्तयति यः
तीह यः
तीह यः
नानुवर्तयतीह यः
नानुवर्तयति यः
तीह यः
तीह यः Sorry.
तीह यः
तीह यः
तीह यः
तीह यः
नानुवर्तयतीह यः
नानुवर्तयति यः तीयः
तीह यः
तीह यः
नानुवर्तयतीह यः
नानुवर्तयति यः तीह यः
अघा good, we got it. अघायुरिन्द्रिया रामः
अघायुरिन्द्रिया रामः
मोघं पार्थ स जीवति
मोघं पार्थ स जीवति
यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् यस्त्वात्मरतिः
यस्त्वात्मरतिः
एव स्यात्
एव स्यात्
आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः
आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः
आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः
आत्मन्येवश्च सन्तुष्टः
तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते
तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते
Now we'll be doing number 18. नैव तस्य
नैव तस्य
कृतेनार्थः
कृतेनार्थः
नाकृतेनेह
नाकृतेनेह
कश्चन
कश्चन
न चास्य
न चास्य
सर्वभूतेषु
सर्वभूतेषु
कश्चिदर्थ
कश्चिदर्थ
or rather कश्चित्
कश्चिद्
अर्थव्यपाश्रयः
अर्थव्यपाश्रयः
नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः
नैव तस्य कृते आर्तः
नाकृतेनेह कश्चन
नाकृतेनेह कश्चन
न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु
न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु
कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः
कश्चिदर्थव्याप्याश्रयः
व्यपाश्रयः
व्यपाश्रयः
Good. I think we translated number 17, did we not? Yes? No? Yeah. Okay, we've done 17. So number 17. So yastvatmaratireva syat atmatriptascha manavah. So having described the chakram, that annad bhavanti bhutani, so which was described here in 14 and 15, then in 16 he says, he talks about the person who does not recognize that order, who does not recognize that he himself, she himself, herself is a product of what is going on. And so that symbiotic relationship is not recognized. So that person is described here in that 16. Aghayuhu Indriya Ramaha, that person is just a slave to his or her senses, and that person's life is led wastefully, like that Krishna mentioned. And in contrast to that, number 17, the other person is one who recognizes the whole, and one having done one's actions as a yajna, as an offering to this wonderful yajna that is going on, develops this antakarana shuddhi, and with the antakarana shuddhi develops that knowledge that I am the whole. Therefore, that person is an atma ratihi, right? Atma ratihi, and then atma triptaha, does not need anything to be contented, because I am the source of contentment. Where is the question of contentment coming from outside? So that person atmani eva cha santushtaha. And then tasya karyam na vidyate. Tasya karyam na vidyate means what? Karyam, something to be done. That person, there is no such thing as that person has to accomplish something more in life. I just need to do a few more things before I can, say good night. So no such thing is there. And that is further described in this next shloka, number 18. This idea that the wise person, nothing remains to be done. That is the idea. And so, naiva tasya kriteena arthaha, na kriteneha kaschana, nachasya sarva bhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashraya. Here Krishna describes the person who knows what it is all about, and who knows that the self is not the doer. I am not the doer. That idea is described here. So we have seen this idea that any action, karma, action has to produce result. This is the law. And what kind of results can it produce? It can produce something outside me. An action can produce a result outside me. I go water the plants and the plant grows. All that is happening outside. I can see action, I can see result. Or it can produce a result inside me. Like I have some food and then I am no longer hungry. My hunger is appeased. Okay. And that's a result inside me. Okay, that's still body. And then you say mind. All right. Then that mind, when we talk about, so there are so many things we do for having some calmness, for being free from agitation, being free from distraction, being free from disappointment. All these things are internal. And so the internal thing here that we talk about when we do karma is antakarana shuddhi, right? So a steadiness of mind, a mind that is free from the pull of likes and dislikes. We saw that. Likes and dislikes, I can allow myself to be pulled only when what I like is also what is in keeping with dharma. Okay, in keeping with dharma, then I'm driven by dharma. We saw all this before. Okay, so for the wise person who recognizes that This source of Ananda is the self. Everything that is here is Ishvara. And that Ishvara, that Bhagavan is not separate from me. This grand equation, if that person is able to see, then how can there be anything to be accomplished? How can there be anything to be gained? How can there be such a thing when everything is the self? Correct? And that vision being an equation to be understood, not simply something to be believed. That person cannot say, I need to, if I wish I had A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, then my life would be better. Maintaining the body is one thing. Food is needed. So many things are needed to maintain this body. And that goes on. That goes on. But this discontentment, this constantly being not acceptable to myself. I need this and this, only then I can be acceptable to myself. This is the fundamental human problem, correct? One can survive, with very little, really speaking. With very little, one can easily survive. But our ideas are all so confused, and that we just give ourselves a lot of burden. We just victimize ourselves by all these ideas. So for this wise person, though, it is not just he's relatively contented. No, we are not talking about relative contentment. That person is happy with little. No, not that. That person, every whole world, whole universe is the self. And therefore, there is no such thing as something that I must acquire in order to be happy. So that person, there is no question of gaining some benefit. By going to heaven, I can be happy. Hey, heaven is also you only. There is no such thing as heaven that is separate from Atma. That is what we are learning in the Bhagavad Gita. We're not simply stating it. Krishna is going to prove it. And so, that being said, there is no heaven. That's why they say the heaven is within you. We hear all these statements. Heaven is within you. So, heaven is within you means what? How do you understand that statement? So, that's what we are after here. And so, there is no benefit for the wise person by doing karma, by doing any action. Very bold statement it is. No action does not benefit the wise person. This is being said here. Okay. Naiva tasya kritena arthaha. Krite arthaha, purpose, a benefit. Arthaha. Okay. Here arthaha. Okay. Means just purpose. Okay. Not necessarily security and things like that. Purpose. It can be artha, it can be kama, it can be dharma, it can be any one of the three purusharthas. Okay. Arthaha. Benefit. By what? Kritena. By doing action. By doing action. Benefit. Arthaha. Na. First word in the sentence is na. Na eva tasya kritena arthaha. Okay. Kritena na arthaha. There is no purpose of action. For whom? Tasya. Tasya. For that person. Tasya, that person means what person? What was the previous shloka? What was the name of the person given? Number 17. Atmaratihi, Atmatriptaha, etc. Right? For that Atmatriptasya, Atmaratehe, Tasya, for that person who knows what is what, for that person, Kritenaha Arthaha na asti. There is nothing. Nothing to be done. Nothing to be done. Which can upset some people. I used to have an argument many years ago, and one good friend used to come to me all the time, and she used to tell me, these swamis they're all studying so much, and then they don't do anything. And Bhagavan Krishna says there is nothing to be done. So much to be done in this world. So much adharma is happening. This Swami should take the lead, but then the textbook says nothing is to be done. So she used to be very perturbed by that statement. And whatever I said, she wouldn't agree at all. And no, Jayakumarji, it's not right. So that doership, that is to be understood properly here. And we used to have very good conversations, but she couldn't handle these kinds of statements. She's more like you must do good to society. And she somehow thought that Krishna is saying, don't do anything. See, that nothing is to be done means nothing is to be done for gaining security, correct? That is the meaning of that statement. Because I'm full, that's it. Nothing in this world can make me more secure because I am the source of security. That is the meaning of that statement. It doesn't mean stop. It doesn't mean sit and don't just get up, don't do anything. That is not the meaning. Previously, I was doing in order to make myself contented, make myself more secure. Now I am doing because I am secure, I am full. And so let me do whatever needs to be done. And actions come out of fullness. Previously, actions were meant to make myself complete. So it's the other way around completely. So we can see potentially a possibility of confusion there, but there is no confusion here at all. And so then again, na akritena kaschana. Na akritena kaschan. Akritena. Previously, kritena. Kritena is to a purpose by something to be done. By something done. He says there's no purpose served for a wise person by any action. Then he says akritena. Akritena means by not doing anything. By not doing anything also no purpose is served. Okay. So both are going hand in hand here. Okay, so therefore Krishna doesn't say just actions don't serve the person, therefore don't do anything. No, by not doing anything also nothing is served. That means the person is free. Person is free. Doership is this. That means doership is implied here. There is no doership. The last time we talked about doership, I gave the example of parents and who bring up children and they just do their duty and they don't put it in their resume. They don't say I did this to you, I did this to you, etc. Sometimes if the relationship is not good, those kinds of discussions can come up. You did this to me, I did this to you, I took care of you, I gave you so much money, I educated you in college, this and that, these arguments happen. But generally you don't see that happening. Okay, so then there is the argument, the Purva Pakshi. Remember Purva Pakshi. Okay, don't forget Purva Pakshi. Purva Pakshi means the person who says, no, but then if the person doesn't do anything, he's going to, something bad can happen. You have to constantly keep doing. Like, keeping your house clean, keeping you have to dust the house, you have to sweep the floor, so much to be done. And the body also will get dirty if you don't act every day, if you don't take a bath, then that's a problem, creates a problem. And so not doing anything has undesirable results. We discussed it last time and we said, no, that's really not a true statement. That's not a true statement. Undesirable thing comes because of the way the body is, because of all the dust that is there, all the impurities, and it settles, and then you have to periodically clean it. So this becoming dirty is a constant process, and then by the process of cleaning, we just remove all that. So that cleaning process is needed, it removes. It is not that not cleaning makes the place dirty. It is really not like that. So that discussion we had last time. And that argument is used by the Purva Pakshi, who is a karma kandi. So who is a ritualist, who's very committed to nitya karma. Nitya karma means puja, sandhya vandanam, all these things, nitya karma. So he says, if you don't do nitya karma, you will gain papam. Veda says you must do your rituals every day. You must at least light the lamp. You must at least chant a few shlokas. You must do this, you must do that. There's a lot of things to do. Vaidika life is not easy. We discussed this before. And if you don't do that, you will gain paapa. You will gain papa. Paap milega if you don't do all this. Shankara says that is all bogus. Not possible. He says, if you don't, something that is not done, how can it produce something? Action produces result. This is physics, correct? Action produces result. What can inaction produce? Inaction is absence of action. From absence, how can you create presence? Not possible. Absence, that's all. Only presence of something will produce the presence of something else. He gives this beautiful logic. And he says, no, even with puja and prarthana and all that, if you don't do what is mandated, if you don't do Shraddha karma, what happens? Shraddha karma is very important for us, very culture. And remembering and offering our salutations to our fathers and ancestors, very important. If you don't do, what happens? Shankara says, if you don't do, you won't get papa. If you do, some of your past papam can be removed. You can gain punyam. All those things happen. But if you don't do, nothing happens. Think about it, okay? Something to think about. So we have a lot of things to think about. Add this to that list, okay? And so if I don't do my daily karma, then nothing happens. If I do my karma, then some result will happen. I will get some punyam, or my papam is gone, and some other drishtapala, etc. can happen. So that's a point to be noted here. And so this voice person, on the other hand, of course, for the person, whether the person does or does not do, that person is unaffected. And the reason the Shastram says you must do what is to be done, and dharma is important, because if my actions are not in keeping with dharma, and if I say I'm not going to do anything, it is only a matter of time before I do things that are not to be done. So it is not, you can't simply say I won't do anything and keep quiet, means it doesn't work. You'll end up doing something or the other. And if it is not dharma, it will become adharma. Therefore, idea is to do. And he's going to say here, the next sloka also is going to say. Because this sloka, look at that. Let's continue with this discussion. And so if you don't do anything, you end up doing something that is not to be done. So therefore, what jnani is being told, there is nothing for this person to be done. And so what happens? Jnani is free. So everything the person does is going to be driven by the prarabdha karma. Vasanas, whatever vasana is there, that will manifest itself. The person may sit and do nothing. Or the person may want to help people and do a lot of seva. Or anything can happen. It is not even in the control of the person. Correct? Can the person commit a murder? Because the person is not a doer. Anything can happen. Then we say, what is to be gained by committing a murder for the wise person? What can the person gain? Nothing. No, he gained a lot of money, etc. That means that person is not wise. Okay, that is the meaning. And we are not talking about a wise person. You're not talking about a jnani. You're talking about somebody else. Somebody else who commits a murder. Person who has severe psychological problems. The person is self-esteem is probably very, very low, and the person is very insecure. The person thinks I must acquire something in order to feel good about myself, and he is willing to commit a murder. That's how bad the person feels. Needs a lot of psychological help. And so only such a person can commit a murder. So definitely a jnani cannot come in that category. And so we cannot expect a person, a jnani, even though we say the jnani is free to do anything, but adharma does not come in that category of anything. There's no need at all, absolutely no need. And that is why sometimes for an onlooker means what? Jnani is there, and then we are all looking at the jnani, and that person's actions may look like adharma, look confusing, because that person's vision is different. And so we may not be able to understand or interpret the person's actions. Sometimes it's possible, but in general, no. That person, kritena na arthaha, akritena na arthaha. That is what is being here, said here. Kaschana, no such thing as something to be done, not to be done. Nacha asya sarva bhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashraya. The key word here, vyapashraya. Ashraya. Ashraya means dependence, support. So we are all dependent on things and people and situations. We are all dependent. Correct? That seems to be a correct statement. I'm dependent on just air to breathe, but for the body to survive, air is needed. Proper, unpolluted air is needed. And if it is polluted, then that creates all kinds of problems. So this external dependence on food, dependence on just clothing, dependence on a shelter, all this is needed. And that is external dependence. Correct? External dependence. That cannot be avoided. External dependence on external things cannot be avoided. Body is body, that's it. And it's a live being also. So if it is dead, then of course nothing, no dependence. But it's surviving, it is living. What can you do? Heart is ticking. And so it depends on certain things for that to happen. We are not talking about jnani. For the jnani also, external dependence is there. Okay. Then what dependence we are talking about here? Krishna is talking this, if you want to quote unquote, internal dependence, emotional dependence, spiritual dependence. Okay, that dependence. I am free when I say, where is the freedom? Tell me, where is the freedom? Body is not free. How can the body be free? Bacteria are constantly attacking. Anytime I can get a cold. Anytime I can rush to the hospital. And that's not freedom. You can't equate that to freedom. You have to say the body is the way it is, and it will live for as long as it can. It can be healthy today. It can have disease tomorrow. Disease can strike tomorrow. That vision is freedom, and allowing the body to be what it is and taking care of the body. Only then freedom comes. But then that internal freedom is there. I am the whole. Emotionally, I am not dependent on anything. I am not a victim of anybody's emotions. I have a lot of love. I will give love. And I enjoy things for what they are. That is what is freedom. That's what gives that freedom. And that dependence, that ashrayaha is what he's talking about here. Okay. And that vairagyam. And look at that. Artha vyapashraya. Dependence on anything, any artha, anything, any person, any situation, any relationship. Imagine Krishna saying, making that statement. You're not dependent on any relationship. That's freedom, is it not? That's freedom. So we need to be related to people. We need to have healthy relationships. We need to, and then we need to grow in that relationship. Marriage is meant for that. It's a important relationship, sacred relationship, and then we grow in that relationship. Ideally, both persons grow in that relationship. Grow in the relationship so that they come to a point where relationship is not a necessity. Is it not? That's freedom. That means the life has served its purpose. So something to think about. And so that's why we have all this brahmacharya ashrama, grihastha ashrama, vanaprastha ashrama. Ashramas make now a lot of sense. And the vanaprastha is meant to be a stopgap between grihastha and sannyasa. So I can grow out of this grihastha ashrama. And I depend on you, you depend on me. Okay, fine. But then after some point, that dependence is really mithya. Really mithya. That dependence is meant to grow. And then we grow out of that. And then thanks to our shastram, we can pursue the shastram. That vanaprastha is so important. So retirement. So that's why people, without this vision, you can see how retirement can be confusing. It can take us places. Retirement is the time when we can go to places, right? We can go to Europe, we can go to all these countries, we can go to Alaska, we can go to Hawaii, we can go to Bali, we can go, so many places are there to go, my God. And this bloody sorry, I should not have used the word pandemic has come and they ruined our life. I just started my retirement life when we were enjoying life and pandemic has come. Can't go anywhere. And we wanted to see China and India-China relations are not good. I don't know whether we should go or not. So like this, all questions. Retired life is not meant for that, really speaking. It's meant for doing what you have not done before. What is it you have not done before? Shastram, Bhagavad Gita book is still unopened in the puja room. It is still there. And children in Germany are chanting Bhagavad Gita. Children in France are chanting this Vairagya Shatakam and all, and Shankaracharya Stotras. So here I am still trying to figure out which country to visit. Okay. So no, that is not the purpose of retirement. And so this addiction to doing things and addiction to kind of accomplishing, right? I need to go, I need to do this, everything. That idea has to, we need to let go of that idea. It's a wrong idea. So these people who are addicted to doing things, every weekend is a stressful situation. You know why? Because they have to plan to do something. Plan to do something. I have to do something. What should we do now? Weekend is coming. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weekend. A long weekend. Oh, even more stress because you have to plan for one more day. And so this doing, the idea of doing is there. And they cannot handle, just being at home and being just focused on something. And I'm not saying everybody, I'm not generalizing it. There are a lot of people who do use their time very well. And at the same time, inaction. People who don't move, they are couch potatoes. They will just sit on the couch. You call them for camping and picnic, they won't come. Arey, you go. You think they are sannyasis. No, they're not sannyasis. He will want water. He said, I'm thirsty. Okay, I'm thirsty means what? Go get some water. Kitchen is there and RO water, reverse osmosis water, everything is there. Go get it. And he will not. He'll simply sit, waiting for somebody to get. Eventually somebody will get, grumbling, all this will happen. You don't do this. You're always like this. This for shouting and all this will happen. Finally, he will get water. This fellow, like a stone, he sits. He knows how to get things done. He'll say, no, you go to the picnic, you go to the movies, don't worry. Like that he will. So you think he's some kind of a big, you know, he's a very enlightened person. This fellow is not enlightened, no, lazy fellow. And so this addiction to action also is a problem. This addiction to just sitting and doing nothing also is a problem. And so if I start a series of classes, how to live a contented life in retirement, something I must come up with a good title, and then make it attractive and put some nice bullet points there, and put a little bit, sprinkle some spirituality also there. Spirituality must be there, otherwise it's not fun. And so put all that and then advertise it, and then all senior citizens will come. I don't know, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they're not interested, maybe they figured out what to do. But this idea of trying to do something different, that is there in everybody's mind. And so here, look at that person, Jnani, is described, kaschid artha vyapashraya. There is nothing on which this person depends on. What a statement that is. And sarva bhuteshu means in this entire world, nothing. There is nothing that is going to interest this person. Oh, Russia, two more countries came up. One country became two. This happens in our country. Our country, it happens. One state will become two states. And this and that. So new, some new places are there to visit. And no, doesn't matter. You cannot attract this person by anything. Sarva bhuteshu. There is nothing in this universe that can attract this person. So that is what is being said here. So what is our journey? Our journey is from world dependence to God dependence to self-dependence or independence, if you want to call it. That is the journey. World dependence. I am dependent on everything in this world. That's how we start. Then Ishvara, Bhakti. All that is so important. So Ishvara is there. So I am fine. Ishvara is there. Things are in order. And I will be taken care of. That is Bhakti. Bhakti will give me that freedom. There must be relative freedom. That is called relative freedom. Previously dependence, then relative freedom, then absolute freedom. Correct? So that's the way to visualize our journey here. And Swami Paramarthanandaji said that once in his class, so I remember that. So let's go back to shloka number 18 here. Naiva tasya kritena arthaha na kriteneha kaschana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kaschid artha vyapashrayah. For that person, tasya, we are translating the shloka. For that person, tasya, and who that person is not said here, but we know it refers to that atma triptaha, atma ratihi. So within brackets, who revels in the self, means who's happy with oneself, who revels in the self, comma, there is indeed no purpose. There is indeed no purpose. Na eva arthaha. Na eva arthaha. There is indeed no purpose. Here in this world, iha. Here in this world means iha. There is one word stuck there in the first line. Na krite neha. So na akritena iha. There are three words there joined. So iha, here in this world, for doing or not doing action. Kritena, akritena. Kaschana. For doing or not doing action. Or doing anything. Yeah. Full stop. Next. Nor does such a person na cha asya. 3 words there. Na cha asya. Nor does such a person depend on any being sarvabhuteshu kaschit. Depend on any being for any object whatsoever. Depend on any being for any object whatsoever. Nor does such a person depend on any being for any object whatsoever. So, for that person, within brackets, who revels in the self, comma, there is indeed no purpose here in this world. Here, generally, iha means here. But here means what? Because of this, it can be anywhere. And there is always this punarjanma always happening. So here in this world, it's a unique way of translating that word. Iha. Here in this world, or means in this life. That's also another way to look at it. For doing or not doing action, full stop. Nor does such a person depend on any being for any object whatsoever. Okay. Let's chant this next one, number 19. Okay. So Vijay, go ahead and unmute yourself. I've been calling you for the last 2 classes and finally I found you.
Thank you.
I think you raised your hand, didn't you? Couple of
Yeah,
classes.
yeah.
Good. All right. Tasmat.
Sorry. Yeah. Tasmat
Asaktas satatam.
asaktas satatam
Karyam karma.
karyam karma
Samachara.
samachara
Asakto.
asakto
Hyacharan karma.
hyacharan karma
Paramapnoti.
paramapnoti
Purushaha.
purushaha
Tasmadasaktas satatam.
tasmad asakta satatam
Yeah. Karyam karma samachara.
karyam karma samachara
Asakto hyacharan karma.
asakto hyacharan karma
Hyacharan karma.
hyacharan karma
Paramapnoti purushaha.
paramapnoti purushaha.
Yeah. So having said this, na kritena kaschana, etc., there is nothing to be done for a wise person. And so tasmat means what? Therefore. I think by now you know. Tasmat, therefore. Some reasoning has been given, some description was given, and tasmat. Therefore, that reasoning is concluding. There is a conclusion being said here. So therefore what? If a wise person who knows what is what, who knows the person is a non-doer, there is nothing to be done for that person. Therefore what? Therefore Arjuna must be thinking, great, so this knowledge is important to me, therefore study this, so important, follow the Shastra, study this, and then be free. You don't have to do anything. That is the idea, right? That's the idea. That's what Arjuna should be expecting. But he says here, karma samachara, karyam karma samachara, tasmad asaktas satatam, karyam karma samachara. Always, satatam, always do what is to be done. That is what it is. There seems to be no connection between what was said before and what Krishna is saying now. Therefore, do what is to be done. Okay. So we need to understand that. So we now know that it's not that difficult to understand now, because only, see, we know two things. One is action is opposed to knowledge. Very important statement. Action is opposed to knowledge. Why action is opposed to knowledge? Because action produces result, and result makes me do, and it really doesn't get me what I want. Action's role is to produce a result. It's perfect, but it cannot create knowledge. Knowledge process, pramanam has to be operated. To know something, pramanam has to be operated. Even a scientist in a lab, when they are inventing a vaccine, a lot of action is done, but it is all accessories. Those actions are all accessories. The discovery process is independent, really speaking. The actions are meant to create situations that help discovery to take place. Think about it. You think about it. No action can remove ignorance. There is no action. You can't scrape ignorance off, because we saw last time, knowledge always is, and the ignorance has to be removed. And so we create so many conditions, experiments, and more study, and thinking, and debates, conferences. All these things happen in order to reveal one fact, in order to discover one fact. Correct? All those are actions, no doubt. But our Shastram view is what? Actions do not produce knowledge. Will not produce, because action can do so many things, but it cannot produce knowledge, because knowledge always is. It is not produced. Okay. Having said that, one thing we know, karma, and especially here Atma Jnanam, karma and Jnanam are opposed to each other. In other words, karma cannot lead to knowledge. Action cannot lead to knowledge. Okay. What is the other thing we know? We also know karma yoga. Action, when done as a yoga, get that. Now karma yoga steps in, walks in, yajna walks in. Action, when done as a yajna, then makes my mind ready to accept this fact, ready to analyze this fact. Antakarana shuddhi. So I am clean, and I am not just driven by my raga dveshas, and so I am ready to receive the message of the Shastra. Correct? Therefore, action is important. I can't say, because that karma yoga is an attitude, but that attitude will not come unless I do my dharma. Dharma is important. Correct? Therefore, this yeah, Vijay, you can mute yourself. Therefore, here Krishna is reminding Arjuna about that karma yoga, about that yajna. What was the shloka? 3.9. Yajnathat karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhanah tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangas samachara. 3.9. 9th shloka. So, yajnathat karmanon yatra. So, do your actions as a yajna, recognizing this entire cosmic ecology, and that is no different than karma yoga, which makes me do things as an offering to Ishvara, and whatever comes I take as prasada. That attitude is being reminded here by Krishna, and as opposed to the other attitude, what is in it for me? What is in it for me? Everything I do, I am asking this question: Kya matlab hai iska? What can I get out of it? How can I profit from this? How can I enrich myself physically, materially? How can I enrich myself? This idea is we need to let go of that idea, and slowly, and we have to tell ourselves that this accumulating and accumulating for so much more than what we need. Yeah, it's after some point it is just a detriment to our own life, and for our own daily happiness. You can't sleep also, can't have a proper sleep because I'm thinking about what is happening to all these things. Stocks is there, real estate is there, real estate value is going down or going up. This is a big problem. Many people spend all day talking and thinking about this. How long can we lead a life like this? And so this, we need to let go of all that. And so this, what is in it for me, Swamiji talks about that attitude, and that doesn't help any of us. But spiritually, when we come to this sadhana, then we can ask the question, these birthday parties I'm going past 20 years I've been doing this, now I think I need to cut down. What is in it for me? That you can ask, what am I going to get out of this party? I've done my best. All my children have grown up, and yes, I've helped other friends. All that is important. You can't simply say no to every party. I've done everything. I've dotted the i's, crossed the t's. Now what? Now tell people, begin to tell people, no, I have a class. I'm sorry, I won't be able to come. We have to say, it. And no, I have a homework due tomorrow, Sanskrit homework. Blame it on Jaykumarji. You can say it now. Now you have somebody to blame things on. No, Jaykumarji will, it doesn't work out. He's too much. Sorry, I can't come. You keep your party some other day, then I will think about it, So you have all these options, all these excuses you can give. And so at some point we need to do that, because that is also, you become a role model for others. You become a role model, something to look forward to, and you gradually cut out your activities, your unnecessary activities, I mean. And then you have time for yourself, and then the study becomes very beautiful after that, and you can really enjoy it. And so here Arjuna is being told that karyam karma samachara, and he uses that word 2 times in the shloka. Samachara, achar karo means not pickle. This is achara. So do things that is to be done. Samachara, samyak achara. Don't do just for the sake of doing. You have to think. You can't just drop your buddhi down and say, I'm going to just lead a life vegetable. No, samachara. And second line he says, asaktaha hi acharan karma. Asaktaha. We've seen that before. Asaktaha. So not being attached to anything. That is a literal translation. Means what? Not being driven by your likes and dislikes. Krishna always makes it a point. And let what you love to do be dharmic. And so then likes and dislikes is equal to dharma. So asaktaha, son, being somebody who is not attached to certain limited ends. Karma acharan param apnoti purushaha. Okay, param, he is introducing the word param. So that person gains purushaha, same as purushaha. That person gains param. Param means ultimate good, which is moksha. So let's translate this shloka. Therefore, tasmat, kama, always perform well. Samachara, satatam samachara, always perform well. The action that is to be done, karyam karma. Get that, karyam karma. These 2 words, interesting words. Karyam also can mean action. I have to do some karyam. Karyam mannanu. So, and then karma also means action. So karyam karma here means karma to be done. Karya to be done. That is to be done. So perform well the action that is to be done without quote unquote attachment. Asaktaha. Okay, without attachment, because There is a word in the second line. He. Asaktaha he acharan karma. That he means because, comma, by performing action without quote unquote attachment, asaktaha karma acharan, by performing action without attachment, comma, a person attains the highest. A person attains the highest. Purushaha param apnoti. So look at that. Therefore, moksha doesn't mean we have to throw our clothes and put on some orange robes. It means doing what is to be done. There is no, every ashrama is ready. There is no, we don't have to do anything different. Just our attitude has to change. Our commitment to dharma is important. And then the yajnarthat, recognizing the all pervasiveness of Ishvara, and everything falls in place. We'll continue this discussion in the next class. Om swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam lokas samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshobarahitah brahmanas santu nirbhayah. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet, asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Om purnamadah purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम.